morning, good afternoon, good evening, dear all. Welcome to the last live training of 2019. I'm Millen Livis, your financial independence mentor, also founder of the Millionaire Method, method to create financial independence in your life, and author of best-selling books, A Shift Toward Abundance and A Shift Toward Purpose. So today I want to first start with saying happy holidays, and if I don't talk to you later on, very happy, successful, prosperous, healthy new year. Whether you watch this live or in recording, thank you very much for taking time out of your busy life and being with me today, watching this this training. I'm one of those people who buys presents way in advance, so I usually don't do shopping last moment. So all my presents are wrapped and or put in bags and under the trees. So I'm good with my time, so I could offer this training for you today. So today we're going to talk about 5 tips that will help you position yourself for success in 2020. And I learned these tips from my mentor, and I use this with my clients, and I use this in my life. And I'm sure that these tips will help you also to achieve success with less confusion and with more ease. So if you know people who could benefit from this training, from learning about 5 tips for positioning yourself for success in 2020, please share this video, tag them, let them know that they can learn from this as well. And I invite you to take some notes, probably, right? Because we're gonna cover quite a bit of stuff today. All right, so ready? Let's start. So the first tip that I think will help you to get the most, to be most efficient and effective with your time and your efforts is to get clear about your direction and about your goals. There is nothing worse than running in the wrong direction than running in the wrong direction enthusiastically, right? So guess how I know that? So I invite you to be very clear about your direction. So what I mean, direction and goals is not quite the same. So what I mean when I say get clarity about your direction. For example, and by the way, all these tips that I will share with you today can be applied to any area of your life. I know that I'm a financial independence mentor, so I mostly work with people on the area of their finances, but these tips will apply to your relationships, your career, your financial life, your health, etc. Right? So just let's be clear about that. Okay, so when I say get clarity about your direction, what I mean, for example, do you want to stay at your job and continue, you know, climbing the corporate ladder, or maybe you want to prepare yourself for transitioning toward having your business? That would be an example of direction. Or, for example, do I want to start focusing on preparing for my retirement, saving money, investing money for my retirement, or I just want next year, I just want to travel, I want to focus on my business. So where is your focus next year, right? So that would be how I would define direction for you next year. Next, let's talk about goals, right? So the first tip is get clarity about your direction and about your goals. So what goals you want to achieve maybe next year, maybe a little bit longer, so you can have long-term goals. You can get clarity about your short-term goals, because it's important to know what is it that you want. You know how many people don't really know what they want? Or maybe they kind of have it inside, but they cannot express it clearly, even for themselves. So it's very important to know what goals do you want to accomplish, whether it's next year or year after. So short-term goals, long-term goals, etc. Right? So very important. And what I also invite you to consider is to imagine or visualize as if you are living these goals. So just take some time and start visualizing being the person who is living this life that you want to create, who is enjoying the goals that you wanted to achieve, and they already there, they already became your reality. So how different would you think? How different, what different decisions, what different choices would you make? So visualize living your goals, living your vision as if it happened. All right. So any questions so far? I see that we have some people watching, so let me know, because I would love to see your questions, your comments, and would love to answer them. Okay, so again, the first tip is get clarity about your direction and about your goals, because if you don't know where you're going, all ways will get you there, right? Okay, so tip number 2. So now that you know what your goals are, you've got to create a strategic action plan. Create a strategic action plan. And it may sound like fancy action plan, strategic action plan, but actually it's basically outlining what kind of milestones you want to have to achieve the goal that you will set up for yourself. So you may create like milestones, or call them stages, right? So what milestones or stages you will need to have in order to achieve this goal that you set up for yourself. And you can create this goal by yourself. If you have a coach or a mentor, you can brainstorm with your coach or mentor. It's always a good idea to have some interaction with another person who could help you to maybe leap farther and easier, right? So again, have at least, like, I don't know, 3 stages, like three milestones for achieving your goals in your action plan. And make sure that you start with some tasks, some milestones that are easier for you to achieve, that you not only you feel that you totally aligned with your action plan, but you have at the beginning you have steps or milestones that you know you will be able to accomplish. Why it's important? Because you want to create a momentum in your pursuit of achieving your goals. You want to create a momentum. It's very, very important. So again, among all the tasks, and don't overwhelm yourself with too many tasks, too many milestones. Just keep it, you know, maybe to three stages, and then if you want to, or 3 milestones, and then you can put some subtask under each of the milestones. But make sure that you put something that will give you a sense of accomplishment, that will help you to feel more confident about your pursuit, right? So, and have some benchmarks, so you will know that, yes, I made the progress, right? Because sometimes it's not about achieving goal, but at least to see that you're making progress. That's very, very important. Hi, Diana, great to see you here. Okay, so we have we covered second tip, which is create strategic action plan. And in this second tip, I want to give you some super tip that will help you to do this maybe faster and maybe with more ease. So imagine again, like I mentioned in the first tip, imagine that you are living this and someone from Star Magazine or whoever invited you to give an interview about your success. How did you achieve that? So again, you will need to write down, or if you can have this mock-up interview with a friend or with a coach, you will need to tell and share how did you achieve this goal. So basically, it's a frame from neurolinguistic programming. Leave it as if it happened, right? So you can write it down, sharing how you've done it, or you can have a conversation with a friend or a mentor. Okay, so any questions so far? Whoever is watching me live or in recording, any questions? So we covered first 2 tips for positioning yourself for success in 2020. And again, if you know someone who could benefit from this training, please tag this person, share this live stream, share this video, because I want to see as many people as possible being successful next year, and looking forward to having amazing, remarkable year. And that's why I decided to do this live training today. All right, so moving forward to tip number 3. Tip number 3 is upgrade your skills. You've got to upgrade your skills, because nobody, if you want to create something that you haven't done before, it's very likely that you don't have the skills to achieve this yet. You may have some skills, but not all of the skill sets, right? So the first step would be to identify what skills do you want to upgrade. If it's your business, maybe it's marketing skills, maybe it's sales and marketing skills, maybe it's copywriting skills, maybe it's coaching skills, if it's a coaching business, whatever you want to whatever your goal might be. If you want to make your money work for you, which that's exactly what I teach, then maybe you want to upgrade your investing skills. Maybe you want to learn how to invest in the stock market. Maybe you want to learn how to invest in real estate. So the first step in this tip number 3, where I invite you to consider upgrading your skills, would be to identify what skills you will need in order to achieve your goal. Right? What skills would be aligned with the goals that you set up for yourself next year. Once you identify these skills, I think it might be helpful for you to prioritize them. Because you cannot approach all the trainings or whatever would be the vehicle for you to upgrade your skills. You cannot do it all at once. So decide when you will work on what. Okay, and then decide how you're gonna in what form you want to upgrade your skills. It could be doing research online. It could be buying some books and reading them. It could be taking some trainings, maybe online trainings, maybe live trainings. So decide in what form you want to choose to upgrade your skills. What would be the vehicle for you for this? What else I wanted to mention here? Yeah, and also it might be useful for you to create kind of like a mini plan in terms of upgrading your skills. Like, I want to learn this by this date. I want to advance in my understanding or my knowledge in this area by this date, etc. So try to be specific with your action plan, with your strategic action plan, so it will not be just wishy-washy, right, action plan. So it would be very specific in terms of the outcome and specific in terms of timeline that you would like to accomplish this by certain date. So that's what I would like to suggest. All right, so any questions so far? Whoever is watching, I would love to, so Diane, do you have any questions? Ladies, if you're watching this and you have some questions, please don't be shy, okay? Because that's the perfect timing for you to ask me. I love answering your questions. In the meantime, let's continue. So the next tip, which is kind of not often covered by coaches and even mentors, is creating optimized environment. Creating environment that will help you to get to your goals and or your vision faster and more enjoyable. And this tip contains different level, because environment includes physical environment. It includes your mental environment, people who are around you, your so I mentioned physical environment, your home, the climate where you live, etc. So let's start from the beginning. Let's start with your physical environment. So physical environment could be, first of all, your body. So if you feel that there are certain things that you need to do to yourself to improve your stamina, your vitality, this is super important for achieving your goals. Because when you feel tired all the time, when you may be in pain and you don't attend to this, to the body that helps you to have this life, then nothing else would matter. And believe me, I speak from experience. So first, your physical environment includes your body. It also includes your home or your office if you work from home. It's honestly, it's so important to have a very spacious, very unclouded place to work, right? So pay attention to the place where you create, the place where you spend a lot of time in, your physical space, because that would be very, very influential for you in terms of how you feel about your work, about yourself. Believe it or not, it does affect your way of feeling about yourself, your efforts, etc., your life. So, and also climate, you know, for some people, and I was one of them, for some people it's important to have a lot of sunshine. I lived for a long time in cold countries with snow and snowstorms and rain, and you know, I felt at some point that I would like to have some time spending more time in the sunshine. So I changed my location. So this is just something for you to think about, right? Maybe at some point. So, or maybe not even think about, but be aware of that climate also may affect your physical environment. Technology, right? So see if whatever goals you have, if you have technology that is sufficient for achieving these goals. You know, for example, if you have your own business, what email platform do you use? What payment system do you use, etc. Right? So be aware of the technology environment as part of your physical environment. Next is your mental environment. So your mental environment is obviously super important, right? And it includes your beliefs, it includes your feelings, it includes your thoughts, but most of all, right now in this aspect, I want to talk, when I talk about mental environment, I want to bring your attention to the things that distract you: TV, radio, social media, right? So see if this what I call environmental noise contributes to your goals or detracts from your goals. So pay attention of this mental environment in terms of what is in the background as you working toward your goals. Next would be next aspect of optimizing your environment would be people. We have it's called osmosis factor, meaning that we pick up from people who we surround ourselves with, the ideas, the thoughts, the attitudes, right? So it's like subconscious assimilation of other people ideas and way of thinking, etc. So be very mindful who you surround yourself with, what people are in your life, in your personal life, in your professional life, because you want to have energy that is supportive, that is inspiring, that doesn't drain your energy, right? You don't want to be surrounded by people who drain your energy. So that's very, very important, and that includes well, obviously your family members, your friends, your clients, your maybe mastermind group, if you're part of the mastermind group, the coach, your mentor that you work with, and maybe if you have a team, your team members. So people who are in your life, just look how supportive the energy that you receive from these people, and obviously you also give your energy to these people. So make sure that you don't feel deflated or drained of energy because of the certain people that are in your life. Okay, so before I move forward, let me see if I have some questions, because I invited you to ask me questions, so I want to make sure that I answer them. Okay, so Diane said, need to work on my environment, physical and mental. Diane, this is such a great conclusion, because believe me, almost everybody needs that. So it's very normal to feel that way. And, unfortunately, a lot of people not aware of this. So, like I said, very few, I don't recall many people talking about the importance of your environment. And that's why I wanted to bring this to your attention. Okay, so I'm inconsistent with exercise, and my home office is a disaster. Okay, so you know what? I applaud you for being aware of this now, right? And basically just being honest with yourself. You know what? That's the first step. So yes, make sure that you take care of you, right? Because if you don't take care of you, then who cares about the goals and vision? Because you want to be there by the time you get there, right? So very important to take care of your body and your mental environment. Very, very important. And your office too, like I said, physical space. Personally, I cannot be creative when I have piles of papers and magazines and stuff on my desk. It's just like it just something inside me just feels blocked. I feel physically blocked. So I need to have space in the area where I work, where I create. And I believe that it works in a similar way for many people. Maybe not for all. Maybe some people like to be creative when they have like a, the environment up to here. It's possible. But from my experience, a lot of people benefit from having a clean and spacious environment where they work and create. Okay, so all right. Great points, Diane. Thank you for sharing them. And we are moving forward. So unless you have other questions or comments about creating optimal environment, I would like to move forward to the next tip that I have for you, which is mastering your psychology. Mastering your psychology. And by the way, just something that I don't want to forget. Whatever I share with you today, these tips, not only they will help you to achieve your goals, to live the life that to achieve the vision that you have for your life, for your work, for your personal life, for your professional life. These tips will also help you to feel happier, to feel freer, right? I don't know if I can, if there is this word freer, but to feel more free and to feel more happy and more joyful. So that's why I wanted to share them with you, because wealth is not only about the size of your bank account. It's a very multi-dimensional notion, right? It's about being happy. It's about being joyful. It's about being the best version of yourself and living the best life you want to have. So that's why I wanted to share these tips with you. All right, so let's talk about mastering your psychology. So when we talk about psychology, what I'm referring to here, because it could be interpreted in many different ways. What I'm referring to here when I say master your psychology, I'm talking about your beliefs, which beliefs are the result of your conditioning for many, many years. Your attitude, which also formed over many years, and your attitude was influenced by your beliefs, not only by your external experiences, but also by your beliefs. I also, what I also refer here is questions that we ask ourselves when nobody is watching us, right? Because many of us have tendency to ask questions that are self-sabotaging. Something like, what is wrong with me, and why it always happens to me, and why I'm so stupid, or why I'm so unlucky, and things like that. These are self-sabotaging questions, and these are part of mastering your psychology. And the big elephant here is that many people are avoiding to feel the feelings that stored in your body for many years from all the experiences. And we call them memories, because we memorize feelings, right? And sometimes it's very painful to admit that we feel that way, and many people try to resist feeling. They try to push it away and kind of pretend that it's not there, and yet what you resist persists. So the first thing that I believe would be beneficial for you, if you have some charge over certain experiences that happened in the past, allow yourself to feel these feelings fully, so they will not be hidden in a shadow of your life. Bring them into the surface, feel them fully. And I use certain techniques with my clients, very powerful techniques, to let them to allow to release this hidden energy that is there in your body, that blocks a lot of efforts that you may want to make, but something inside you, sometimes it's hard to explain, is blocking you. And very often these are the feelings that we store in our body, the energy that is there. So I invite you in this mastering your psychology, feel the feelings fully, allow them to be, so they will not feel neglected or not acknowledged, and then let them go. And again, beliefs, be aware of what what is behind some of your choices? Because some people make choices not because they inspire them or they excite them, but because they're afraid of something, right? So what are the beliefs, what are the fears behind some of your decisions, some of your choices? Very important to be aware of this. And then questions. Try to ask yourself inspiring questions. What am I good at? Why I am so amazing at something, right? So questions that what else I could create so I will feel even better. What else I could give to offer to my clients or my children that will make them feel more confident and will make me feel good about myself. So whatever questions you may come up with, just make sure that they're not self-sabotaging, like, you know, what is wrong with me and why I'm never good enough and things like that. These are self-sabotaging questions that you, if you use them, you hypnotize yourself, right? And it becomes self-fulfilling prophecy. So be aware of these questions that you ask yourself. And what I want to invite you here in this training, I want to invite you to be kind and loving to, first of all, yourself, because we often, when we say kind and loving, we often think about being kind and loving toward other people, and it's kind of like that's kind of a norm. And today I want to remind you that you are part of this people who you want to be kind and self-loving. And sometimes when you need to make a decision and you're not sure, ask yourself, is it self-loving? Or how is it self-loving to me? Okay, maybe that would help you to make a choice, make a decision. Okay, let me see. I just want to make sure I answer your questions before I move to the conclusion today. Working on not making decisions from fear. This is so big, Diane, huge. From my experience, from experience of my clients and friends and colleagues and family, every time I made the decision from the place of fear, long term, it was a wrong decision. It may work for you in the very short term, but long term, somehow it just doesn't work. So make sure that you know what place you're making the decision from. Very, very good point. Thank you for bringing this up. All right, so in conclusion, and I have some important announcements, so stay with me all the way. So in conclusion, I just want to remind you that you are enough. You are enough. That you always have choices. That you're not stuck. Even though sometimes we may feel that we're stuck, but you always have choices in life. I also want to tell you that you never know what profound possibility may be awaiting for you just around the corner. So you may ask sometimes, that would be one of the empowering questions, what profound possibility may be awaiting me next year? And finally, just want to tell you that it's a very good belief to adopt that life happens for us, not to us. So every time when you have any kind of experience, and some of them are not easy, ask yourself, what is the gift in this experience? What is the gift in this experience? This habit, this attitude will take you farther toward living the life you want to create. And that's the training for today. So now I want to remind you, and maybe you haven't heard about this yet, until I think it's January 1st, 2020, I'm offering a very special, very special holiday special. It's called Wealth Collection Holiday Special. So you can get 70% off on a bundle of some of my most powerful, most liked programs, right? I will post the link to this special promotional offer that will be will last only until before January 2nd, 2020. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, whoever watches this video live or in training, happy holidays. Wonderful, remarkable, successful, healthy, prosperous new year to all of you, to your peace, power, and prosperity.